This video will demonstrate the location of the lab materials and the lab photo information. So we are on Canvas, we clicked on modules, and I chose to pick module number 2. And in module number 2, here's module 2, we're going to scroll down past the lecture resources to the lab resources. So that's the material for lab. The first thing you're going to see under lab resources is a little overview and tips of what's needed for that particular week's lab. So as you will see, it says the lab kit is required for inventory, but you're not going to actually use it in an experiment until the next lab. It also has a little list of there are 3 virtual labs for this week and a reminder that you should do the quiz. So let's go back to the module. Again, we're in module 2. And here we see under lab resources, lab exercise. So this is the same as the lab manual. So lab exercise 2, there are 2 identical documents, a PDF and a Word doc. Open whichever one you prefer. I'm going to click on the PDF. Now, I would recommend, but it's not required that you download this, but for time's sake, I'm just going to use the document that's open here in the box. So at the beginning of each lab exercise, there are what are called learning objectives. These are what you should study for the lab portion of the quiz. The lesson quiz, which are going to contain 20 questions, and they are 20 points, is about 10 questions over lecture and 10 questions over lab. So this is be the information to study for the lab portion. This week, there's also a note that says the lab kit will not be utilized until lab 3, but to take inventory, which we will look at later on in this presentation. So we're going to keep scrolling. We're reading the lab exercise. Here are some instructions and some reminders. So this is a reminder that you have 3 virtual labs due in addition to the lab photos. They are the BrightScope microscope, wet mounts, and the metric system. The first thing you see in the lab exercise is information on the microscope. You will not be turning in every page within the lab exercise, just the required photos. The required photos, as we will see, is going to be material in the yellow boxes. However, you should watch these videos and fill in the questions, study them for the quiz, even if it's not submitted. So here we come to a yellow box. The yellow box is an indicator that the information for a lab photo is within the box. So a reminder, if a lab photo is not submitted, then the lesson quiz is also a 0. The lab is a portion of this course, and the only way that we know that you're doing the lab is to submit the correct photos. This is part of attendance. So for this first lab photo, for lab 2, it requires a selfie showing your entire face and table 4, which we'll see on the next page, with your name and date. I need to be able to read the material, so therefore no mirror images or backwards words should be submitted. So let's keep scrolling. So here is the information for the first lab photo. You're going to see the microscope, and as we scroll down, there's a table, table 1. You're going to fill in the parts and the function. So how do you submit this photo? This photo requires a selfie, so you have a couple options. You can either print this page and then hold up this page with your name and the date, take a photograph, and then submit it on Canvas. If you don't have a printer, that's fine. You can also fill this out on your computer and take a photograph with your computer screen with everything filled out. This particular week, there are 2 lab photos. So we're going to scroll down. There's the metric system, which we don't need for this particular photo. You should complete the material, but no photo. And then we get to lab kit inventory. So let's keep scrolling. So there's a yellow box, so a photo's coming. So for this photo, you're going to again show your entire face with the inventory list and the name and the date. So let's keep scrolling down. So there's that inventory list. So put your name and the date. Check a box if every item is present. So again, you're going to purchase the lab kit from the ICC bookstore. You're going to open the lab kit, take inventory. If the material or object is there, check the box that it was present. If it's missing, you're going to check this box. If items are missing, you should then email me so that I know what's missing, how many you need, and then we have two options. If you are able to, you can pick it up on campus. If you're unable to do that, please also include in that email with what is missing your mailing address. You should allow plenty of time for the item to be shipped if needed to get there before a lab. So for example, we will start using the lab kit for lab 3. So if anything from lab 3 is missing, email me right away and we'll get those shipped to you, or you can pick them up. So as we scroll down, we get to the end of the lab. So also, how do you know if you've done all of the required photos for each week? In these blue boxes, it will say how many photos are required for that particular week. So week 1 has 1 photo. Lab 2 has 2 photos. And that again was the microscope and that inventory list. We only want 1 document with all of the photos in a PDF format. So in order to merge those PDFs, you can go to ilovepdf.com. It's free. Merge all of the photos into 1 document and upload that on Canvas. So that's the location of the lab exercise and what the required photos are. The required photo information is always going to be found in those yellow boxes. So now let's see where we actually submit our photo on Canvas and what our assignments are for lab. So as I scroll down, here was the lab resources. Here was the lecture material, but we're focusing on lab. So here is the lab material. This is lab assignments. So lab photo 2, if we want to submit it, we're going to click on this. And you can click Start Assignment, and then you would upload your file. Also, if you get lost at any time, at the bottom is the rubric that I use to grade your photos. So a reminder, here are the 2 photos. One is of the microscope and one is of the inventory. So let's go back. Again, what else is due for lab? So here's lab. We have 3 virtual labs. So you click on this one, complete it. Click on the microscope pond water and complete it, etc. Once you're done with all of the lecture and lab material and you've studied it, then you would take the quiz.